Hey there, and welcome, friends. It is good to see you again, and thank you for joining me again on the floor this time instead of the screen. Today, I thought we'd continue with another step away from our usual blocky worlds and do another show and tell video. I asked my good friend Dracina Trifasciata to join us here. As a bit of extra decoration, you know I love plaid decorations. And today I'll be walking you through a bit of a collection of different kind of alcoholic drinks and spirits. I really have to begin by saying I am not a heavy drinker. In fact, I have this many bottles because I don't drink them. A lot of these are presents from several years ago, and while I do enjoy a glass or two every once in a while, and I don't mind sharing with friends either, I still seem to be getting them much faster, much more often than the speed at which I can consume them. So, instead, we will use them for a bit of relaxation and just pay them some attention, some love. They don't get a lot of visitors in the cupboard, in the cabinet where I keep them, so today we're going to be walking through them, so to speak. I am, as a little fun fact, wearing very fitting socks for the occasion. As you can see, it's beers and snowflakes. So let us begin. I'll be going in an alphabetic order, and that means that our first guest on this video is a bottle, albeit a small one, of absinthe. Now, this particular bottle is from the Czech Republic. I believe it says here, yes, this says Czech Republic. Absinthe Fruko Schulz original. It's a spirit drink, well, with a lot of flavorings and, as you can see, some not very natural looking ingredients, but it's spirit, so just alcohol, water, sugar, herb flavorings, anise flavoring, star anise maceration, and some coloring. Because of course, as you can see, the color comes from the drink itself, not the bottle. And we have this beautiful illustration of a lady in some very vintage fashion adorning this bottle. Now, this definitely is in my collection for several years now, and I don't know where I'm going to drink it because 60% alcohol is just way too strong for my liking. Moving on to B, we have some beers. So let me bring those into the picture. These are actually all quite recent, and I did receive them as presents again. So we have this very cool looking, macho looking Hungarian beer. It's called Helmut. It's a Weiss beer, a wheat beer from Bayern. 5.1% alcohol, and it says brewed in Balaton Világos, which is a town close to the biggest lake in Hungary. And as you can see, it has that kind of summer chill vibe. This is something that you'd like to drink. Chilling on the beach, maybe eating some langos, which if you don't know what it is, it's definitely worth trying. Having some swimming sessions, some water polo sessions, or some other playful fun things in the water with your friends. If you ever visit Hungary in the summer, I do recommend you check that area out. So we have this Mr. Helmut. We have Vault City Beach Iced Tea Table Sour. And I have to say that even though this looks like a beer, it says sour beer, product of Scotland, quite honestly it tastes much more like tea to me. There is, as you can see, there's oats, peach, black tea, and then some other normal beer ingredients. But I haven't tasted this. I just had a friend who celebrated his birthday at the same time as I was, and he received another bottle or another can like this, and he opened it and I tasted it, and it's actually quite nice. It is very refreshing and also something I haven't ever seen before. A Scottish peach beer, peach iced tea beer. Quite interesting. Maybe it's just me who doesn't know my drinks, but the next one, I love this. It's Krabby's Raspberry Alcoholic Ginger Beer. So of course, because ginger beer has beer in the name, a lot of people tend to confuse it with something alcoholic, but ginger beer in and of itself is not. This one though is. It's made to our unique steeped ginger recipe, and it has this lovely signature of John something. I absolutely love the elephant branding, Edinburgh 1801. And I love how it says elephant trademark, as if that wasn't obvious. It's 4% alcohol, and yes, best served chilled. Contains barley and sulfites. I really should have one of these very soon. I don't drink much beer lately. I am deterred by its carbs content, unfortunately. Alright, moving on. Let me wipe this one down. It's a little bit dusty. So this is a very nice decorated bottle of apricot fruit brandy, Hungarian Fruit Garden. Produced and bottled by Panelco Limited, Szabadegyháza. And it has this wonderful seal looking decoration on it. It says Hungarian Orchard. So the same thing as here. I'm not sure why it's fruit garden. I mean, that would be a mirror translation, but you don't say fruit garden, you say orchard, right? Let's see what this says. Let's open it up. I don't want to break the seal, but maybe we can read it nonetheless. Okay, I will try. Nyírkos őszi estéken, fagyos téli délutánokon, egy pohárka valódi gyümölcspálinka felidézi a virágba borult, majd érett termések alatt roskadozó magyar gyümölcsös kertet. Let me continue, or start from the beginning in English, but on wet autumn evenings and frosty winter afternoons, one little cup of true Hungarian fruit brandy, or fruit palinka, as you might have known or heard it before, reenacts or reminds us of the blooming and then burdened with beautiful ripe fruit Hungarian orchards within the children of summer. The peach with the gorgeous scent, the crisp cherries, the yellow, let's see if I can still read that, the pear of yellow silk, the honey tasting plums, and the apple that seduces you to bite. So that's very poetic. So I put this here because it is a brandy, but I do have some palinkas later on. I suppose that's a bit of a methodology mistake on my end, but this is just this. About 40% alcohol in there. Doesn't remind me of summer at all. It reminds me of winter when you need to drink such things to stay warm. Anyway, what is this? I might as well continue here. So this is, yes, of course I have quite a few bottles that are open still already. This is a very, very old one. I think I have this from my grandparents, but from meaning I didn't get this as a present, but when they passed away, they left this behind, and that was some time ago now. So it says Demenovka. I'm not sure about the name of that, but I looked it up, and apparently it's 14 spices and herbs. It's a secret recipe from Slovakia, of course. The brand name is Saint Nicolaus Quality Make Slovak Gold Certificate. And it's basically a bitter liquor. Horka means bitter. Let's see what else. We have this very basic bottle of champagne here. This is also Hungarian make. It says semi-dry. And BB, although it refers to Balaton-Boglár, another town next to Lake Balaton, it also says Bárhol, bármikor, which means anywhere, anytime. Alright, then we arrive to cognacs. Now, of course, cognacs are brandies, spirits made of grapes, made by distilling wine. But it's also true that the wine they use in cognac production is not the wine you would get at a store and drink it. It's said to be virtually undrinkable because that kind of wine is so dry and acidic. It's also, of course, not just any brandy, but a special type produced in, not just in Cognac, not just the city of Cognac, but the surrounding Charente region in France, of course. Strangely enough, the wine that I just mentioned is also called eau de vie, meaning water of life. My apologies for butchering French, but it is funny that something like that that's undrinkable is called the water of life. Anyway, let's see. So, I have this Saint Remy. Distillateur François Despois, 1886. I don't really speak French, but that probably says French distillery since 1886. It says brandy again. It seems like both Balink and Cognac sometimes uses the much more well-known word brandy instead of their own classification. And it has this beautiful lion seal with a battle axe in its paws, it seems. Let me give this a wipe as well. It's a bit dusty. So that we can appreciate its beauty. This is something that's actually my favorite about these drinks. It's not the taste. It's how beautiful and decorative all these bottles are. Not the barcode, but let's see what they have to tell us. Since 1886, Saint-Remy has crafted brandies through the selection and distillation of wines, sourced exclusively from French vineyards. Aged in small French oak barrels, Saint-Remy VSOP embodies the iconic and historical taste of Saint-Remy. It can be enjoyed neat, on ice, or with a simple mixer. Now VSOP, which you will see on a lot of cognacs, and not just this brand, means very, very superior old pale. And that means that the wine, the eau de vie, the water of life that is used in the production of a VSOP brandy, the youngest is at least 4 years old. There can be others that are older, but the youngest is at least 4 years old. And Saint-Remy is one of the big four houses of cognac production. The others being Hennessy, Martell, and Courvoisier. Speaking of which, I have such a bottle here as well. Now I have to say, I'm actually not sure because I think that the official name of the second big cognac house is Rémy Martin and not Saint-Remy, but I don't know the details of that, sadly. Forgive me. If there's any French friends around here, please correct me. Let me know how it's officially. Anyway, this is, I think, one of the most beautiful boxes that we've got. It's a very, makes me think of the word imperial, these colors, right? Courvoisier was served and celebrated at the spectacular opening of the Eiffel Tower in 1889, and the heart of the Paris Golden Age, perfectly capturing the sheer exhilaration of this magical era. This VS, which I suppose will mean very superior, is made of a celebratory and mouth-watering blend of eau de vie, it's just in plural, offering complex fruity notes and oaky richness and depth. And it has this figure here, which reminds us of Napoleon, with his famous gesture of his hand tucked in his coat. And I imagine that the decoration of this box is supposed to remind us of the Eiffel Tower. Of course, it's also 7% alcohol, as cognacs are. Let's open it. Let's check out the bottle itself. Here we not any less beautiful. And if you look, it's actually quite similar to the design of the Saint-Remy bottle. Right? They both have a similar shape and a similar crest or seal there closer to the neck of the bottle. Beautiful color of this one, right? If you place it there, you can see the light shining through slightly. It's producing some wonderful colors. All right. While we're at cognacs in beautiful boxes, I have this. I think I received this in 2021, maybe 2020. Another VSOP, Baron Otard. Cognac established 1795. Now that was quite some time ago, friends. Possibly that's the Baron we're talking about. And here we have a bit of a story to introduce us to this wonderful bottle. Baron Jean-Baptiste Otard first produced his cognac in 1795, buying the only castle in the town of Cognac because of its exceptional aging conditions. Humid cellars at a constant temperature, created by its thick stone walls and close proximity to the river Charente. Well, that's exactly what we talked about before. These unique natural aging conditions still used today are the reason Baron Otard continues to deliver such an intensely smooth and rewarding cognac experience. The elegance of the Baron Otard VSOP cognac is expressed by its length, its intense floral bouquet supported by the smoothness of its flavors of spices and vanilla. It's incredible how decoratively they can speak about a drink. I almost feel ashamed that I sometimes don't taste the difference. As you can see, there's a crest engraved, embossed onto this box that's made of paper but feels almost like leather. And it says, if I can make that out, I can't, unfortunately. But there's a unicorn there. There's another animal, possibly a lion. There's a crown. And I can't really make out the rest. But let's see what's inside. Oh, we get a better look at the crest right there. So this one I've tried before, and it is very tasty. You can see possibly a bit closer to brown than to red than this one. But this is also a beautiful bottle. It looks like a drop of honey, doesn't it? Looks very nice. And so the crest, as you can see, unicorn, lion, crown, and it says Fortis et Fidelis. It means strength and faith or loyalty. Not quite sure in this context. Another VSOP distillation, and the rest I believe we are familiar with. I think this has got to be one of the most beautiful bottles that I've owned. Right. Let us move on. cognacs are done, we make a bigger skip in the alphabet, and we go to ouzo. Now you might have heard of this. This is quite a popular Greek drink. You can see something is written in Greek here. I can't quite make it out, but it's essentially an anise flavored spirit, an aperitif, which means an opener of the meal, so to speak. And this is made of purified spirits, which are then distilled again and flavored. Now, I don't speak Greek either. I'm just trying to maybe be lucky. But no, I can't make these out. I'm thinking maybe this word could somehow be aperitif, spelled in a very strange way compared to how we would spell it, but yes, it's possible. Probably it's better if I don't try to make such things out. This is only in Greek, and I think it is also from my grandparents, who did bring it from Greece. It does say 1880, though. And I would think it has been aged 12 years. Quite a lot of tradition that we are seeing today. Then, let's see. Oh yes, we have arrived to Hungary's national drink, the Pálinka. Let me quickly change position, because sitting on the floor is not the best exercise for my back. Anyway, let's begin with this one. So this is quite a basic and commercial Pálinka. Törköly, it means pomace. So the grapes that have been left over from the winemaking process, they have been pressed already, and then they are used again, and whatever minimal fruit content is left is extracted and goes through a process which ends in distillation, and then you get Pálinka. This one is 37.5%, and it's quite a basic and commercial brand. Yeah, this is Aldi or Hofer, you might know that. I quite honestly don't think I'm ever going to drink this, but the bottle is nice. This one, I think this was produced by a family friend, and I think it also comes from my grandparents' collection. I like how the label is distorted when I turn the bottle around, so fluid. Obviously it's made of apples, but that's all we know. And finally, this is a deluxe, absolutely great looking bottle, and what's inside is also a bit more premium. This says Agárdi, another very famous winemaking town and area. William Pear Pálinka. Miraculum means miracle. It's a 2021 production, and it is produced by Vértes Tibor. (6,858 bottles were produced from selected assorted fruits. This one goes up to 40%. And it says A combination of ancient traditions and state-of-the-art technology has been employed to create this bottle of Palinka that exudes the unique and legendary tastes of the fine Hungarian fruits from which it was distilled. And they recommend we drink it at 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, of course. This is something that you open on a very memorable day with friends, possibly. Then, I see we are at 30 minutes, but don't worry, I have a lot more to show you. I have a tiny bottle here. This is Tatratel. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. Hello, that's better. So this is obviously another Slovakian drink. 52% alcohol, original tea liquor. And I believe this is the original, because there have been a lot of other varieties made, but this 52% one is the original. It says Slovenská republika, and I did bring this from Slovakia when I was there on a hiking trip in 2022 October. I brought a lot more, and other varieties as well, but I've since gifted them away. This was nice because I was coming back from the second or third hike on the last day, and those were some strong hikes in some not so great conditions, and I already had my leg bandaged because it wasn't doing too well, and arrived at this hut where you could buy these, and they also served some basic food, and I got a coffee and some soup, and it was the most wonderful thing, such a refreshment, and very kind people around. If we have some Slovakian friends around here, or Czech friends, because that's where I've been recently, I absolutely admire how kind the people are to tourists. Anyway, that was some good refreshment. And there was a kitty there as well. Yeah, it was staring at me through the boards of the table. Maybe I can find a picture. Now, we've gone through most of the alphabet, but we still have W, and W brings two very important types of alcohol, one of which is wine. This is something I got for Christmas just recently, and this compass is not part of the branding, it was just part of the present. So this is a Hungarian wine, Takler, Pinot Noir, Rosé, and this is a light rosé wine with momentum, it says, with the rich scent and aroma, in which red berries, mainly raspberry and cherry, dominate, with a bit of extra citrus taste as well. Oh yes, with the touch of citrus in addition, it says. And it seems like this winery has been in operation since 1767. Another wonderful crest here, if you can see it, with the 3 stars and some stripes. Making some good sounds too. But what I love the most is, again, the branding. I think I would really like to design such labels for a living. Maybe for a year or two, not forever. But it looks very fun. Then we have another recent addition. This is Yellowtail Shiraz, with a wonderful Australian kangaroo design. Almost looks like some drawing by on the wall of a cave, right? Some tribal illustration, and even the edge of the label is jagged like that. It's like a mountain range. Now, Shiraz itself, of course, it's an interesting thing, because Shiraz is a city in Iran, and for centuries upon centuries, I think way before Christ, they've been producing wine, and it's also been named Iran's wine capital. Iran. You get the idea. Now, these days, without seemingly any connection, the word Shiraz is also used for the Syrah grape, which is very popular as a winemaking variety in Australia and South Africa, if I remember correctly. So this particular one has nothing to do with Iran. It's crafted by the Casella family, and it looks like it's received some awards. The world's most loved wine brand. Wow. I wonder who decides that. And Yellowtail brand won more than 550 wine awards. Wow. Rich and smooth with juicy red berries and hints of licorice and spice. I don't much like licorice, but I think this will be fine. I like a good glass of red wine with a good book, possibly. And it says that the Casella family has been crafting wines for generations. The same family traditions and passion carry on today through Yellowtail. Great tasting Australian wine for everyone to enjoy. Well, not everyone, just the adults, I suppose. Alright, now we move on to the whiskies, of which I have many. For a while I really liked whiskey, and I drank a little bit more than I do these days. So I have more bottles of this than any other drink. But yes, the consumption has slowed down recently. Not recently, a while ago now. Let's see, we have this, which could be very familiar to a lot of people. Johnnie Walker Red Label. Blended Scotch whiskey, distilled, blended and bottled in Scotland. Wonderful color to this one as well. I like how the light plays with it. Then I have 2 bottles of Jim Beam. Now this is Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And I have, this is technically not a whiskey, this is a spirit drink, but whiskey based. With peach and notes of oak and caramel. It's 32.5 while this is 40. So yeah, that much more flavoring is contained in this one. It's a bright and sweet peach spirit drink with these notes. I actually got this very recently and I quite like this. This is very nice. It's very controlled. It doesn't hit you in the head too strong. Tastes very nice. And you can tell your friends you drink when they tell you to drink more. You can tell them, "Hey, I'm drinking whiskey. Leave me alone. I'm drinking so much and so strong." And then they leave you alone. But in fact, it's not so strong. It's a good getaway from people who want to make you drink too much. Then I have Tullamore Dew. Oh my goodness, I hope I didn't butcher that name either. Since 1829, the legendary Irish whiskey triple distilled. with another signature here of D.E. Williams. Distilled, matured, and bottled in Ireland this time. And it has a bit of information here. Whilst the triple distillation guarantees the ultimate smoothness, aging this unique blend for many years in Oloroso sherry and old bourbon oak casks brings out a character and flavor that continues to win awards year after year. The Tullamore Distillery, established in 1829, became home to a man of legendary status, Daniel E. Williams. He perfected a whiskey of exceptional quality, character, and smoothness that was good enough to bear his initials, D.E.W. Now that makes more sense now. And you can see there are the dots, the periods there. It has some awards there as well in beautiful shiny gold. Above all, share it. That is what I like to do as well. I'm sharing it with you right now through sound and visuals. I would share it with you if you wanted some, if you were here. Then I think I have two more. Let's see. We have this beautiful box. Again, aged 12 years. Blended Scotch whiskey. James and John Chivas. It says, maybe you can see it, the Prince of Whiskies. And indeed it's a very royal branding. 1801. Some swords, sail ship, keys, castle. I feel like royalty. At the very heart of the Chivas Regal blend lies the exceptional Stradhilsa single malt and a story of enduring brotherhood, craftsmanship, and generosity of spirit. A gentle reminder of these qualities of love and loyalty, two coupled hearts and a crown. Is forged into the gates that welcome you to our distillery deep in the Scottish Highlands. This is a tribute to the enduring commitment of our founding brothers, James and John Chivas, to craft the world's finest blended Scotch whiskies. Luxurious notes of honey, hazelnut, and butterscotch. And of course, as expected, a beautiful bottle. Last but not least, we have an old smuggler whiskey. This one says Scotch with a history, and I suppose this man right there would be the old smuggler, established 1835. History that they're talking about is written here. The fine, smooth taste of Old Smuggler was established in 1835. It is blended from finest Scotch whiskies in the tradition of the 18th century smugglers who risked their life and honor to share its taste with their loyal customers throughout the islands. That's a very funny thing. You don't usually think very positively of smugglers, right? But in this case, they are celebrated and honored. Well, I'm not going to try this drink right now to figure out if their effort was worth it. But friends, I do thank you very much for joining me for this walkthrough of my collection. If you're ever in Hungary, let me know and I will be glad to invite you for a cup or two. I hope you still have a wonderful period of relaxation after the Christmas holidays, but before the New Year, of course. Please, if you did like this kind of video, I'd be honored if you subscribed and left me a comment about it. Besides that, take care and goodbye.